I always thought I knew who I was. Confident, level-headed, in control. The kind of guy people call reliable. Then Mia smiled at me one evening and said, "You know, I could teach you how to do makeup. Just for fun." And in that one sentence my entire world tilted. First I laughed. Me? Wearing makeup? No way. I was the guy who spilled coffee on his shirt and called it a personality flaw. Not someone who blended foundation or applied mascara with precision. But there was something in Mia's eyes. A spark. A challenge. A knowing smile that made it impossible to say no. And so I agreed. We were in her apartment that Friday night. Soft music in the background, candles flickering, and the faint scent of her perfume filling the room. She had her makeup kit spread across the table like a scientist's tools before an experiment. I sat there nervously, hands folded, trying to look casual while my heart raced faster than a car at full throttle. "Don't worry," she said, brushing a lock of hair behind her ear. "This isn't about looking perfect. It's about learning and having fun." I nodded, trying to convince myself that this was harmless. Just a tutorial, I kept repeating. Nothing more. The first step was foundation. I stared at the tiny bottle in her hand, feeling my chest tighten. "Just apply it gently, like this," she said, her fingers brushing my cheek. I flinched at the contact. A shiver ran through me, not from fear, not from discomfort, but from something I couldn't quite name. As the brush glided over my skin, my reflection in the mirror looked different. Softer. Vulnerable. And for a fleeting second I didn't know who I was looking at. Mia noticed. "You're doing fine," she whispered, and my ears heated. It wasn't praise. It was personal. Intimate. I tried to focus on the steps. Foundation, concealer, eyeshadow. But every brush, every stroke, every gentle tap against my skin sent a confusing thrill through me. Excitement? Fear? Curiosity? I didn't know. I only knew that I couldn't stop looking at my own reflection. When we reached the mascara I almost panicked. Lifting the wand near my eyelashes felt terrifying. "What if I ruin it?" I asked, voice tight. "You won't," she said softly. "Just trust me. And trust yourself." Her hands guided mine. Her fingers brushed my cheeks. Her touch was light, innocent, but it made my heart race like it hadn't in years. And then it hit me, I wasn't just learning makeup. I was discovering something about myself I had buried for so long. Something soft. Something curious. Something that wanted to play, to experiment, to explore. By the time she handed me the lipstick, my hands were shaking. "I'll never look right," I whispered. "You'll look amazing," she replied. "Just one swipe. Trust me." I pressed the color to my lips and froze. The mirror reflected a stranger. And yet, a part of me that had always existed but never been allowed to breathe was smiling back. The shock, the thrill, the undeniable pull of transformation. It hit me like a lightning bolt straight to my chest. I couldn't deny it anymore. I was hooked. That night changed everything. Not just because I looked different. Not just because I felt different. But because I realized something dangerous, exciting, and exhilarating. I liked it. More than I expected. More than I should have. And I didn't know if I could ever go back to the version of myself who had been just a guy. The rest of the night blurred into a whirlwind of brushes, colors, and whispered instructions. Mia laughed softly when I accidentally smudged my eyeliner, and my chest tightened again. Not from embarrassment but from something deeper. Thrill. A sense of possibility. By the time we were done, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. Not because makeup could change my face, but because something inside me had shifted. Something I couldn't ignore. And I knew life would never be the same. I didn't know then that this innocent tutorial was only the beginning. That the more I experimented, the more I would discover about myself. And that each stroke of makeup, each glance in the mirror, would slowly pull me into a world I didn't know I needed, and couldn't resist. Because sometimes, the smallest dare, the simplest lesson can change your life forever. The days after that night blurred into something I couldn't put into words. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw traces of that version of myself Mia had helped uncover. Softness. Curiosity. A thrill I had buried under years of normal expectations. At first I tried to ignore it. It was just makeup, I told myself. Fun. Temporary. Harmless. But harmless didn't explain the way my chest tightened when I caught sight of my reflection in the morning. Or the way my fingers itched to touch the soft fabrics I'd never dared to wear. or the strange, shivering excitement that ran through me when I imagined the dress Mia had once suggested, just for laughs. I couldn't stop thinking about her tutorial. The soft brushes, the gentle guidance, the way her eyes lingered on me. Not judgmental, not teasing, but interested. It wasn't just admiration. It felt personal. Dangerous. And that danger thrilled me. So one evening when Mia went out with friends, I found myself in my apartment staring at her makeup kit. It was almost mocking, all neatly arranged like an invitation I couldn't refuse. I hesitated. Then, trembling, I lifted the foundation brush. 1 swipe. 2 swipes. I barely recognized the person in the mirror. Softened eyes, lips tinted pink, a glow that hadn't been there before. I couldn't stop. Next came the clothes. I had never worn women's clothing before, except in passing jokes at costume parties. But that night, I rummaged through Mia's wardrobe while she was gone, trying on skirts, blouses, and soft fabrics. The first time I pulled a skirt over my legs, I froze. The fabric hugged in ways I had never imagined. The sensation was foreign and electric. Standing in front of the mirror, I felt vulnerable, exposed, yet undeniably exhilarated. I twirled slightly, almost laughing at myself. And yet, deep down, I knew this wasn't a joke anymore. Something inside me had shifted. Over the next week, it became a secret ritual. Alone in my apartment, I experimented. Every brush, every outfit, every mirror glance felt like stepping into a new world. A world where I could explore parts of myself I had hidden for years. But with that excitement came fear. What if Mia found out? What if my roommates walked in? What if someone laughed, or worse, judged me? The thrill was inseparable from the terror. Every session was a dance between desire and panic. Then came the day Mia asked casually, "So, tried anything new?" My stomach dropped. She had no idea how close I had come to letting her see. How much this new side of me had consumed my thoughts. I lied. "Not really," I said, voice steady. And she smiled, oblivious. "Okay, just asking." I exhaled quietly, heart racing. The secret burned hotter than any makeup or fabric against my skin. But secrets have a way of demanding attention. One evening, I left a smudge of eyeliner on the counter. Mia noticed. "Did you use this?" she asked casually, holding up a pencil. My mind raced. "Oh no. I tried it for fun," I stammered. She raised an eyebrow. "Cool," she said, putting it down. "Just don't get obsessed, okay?" And just like that, the line between playful curiosity and full-blown transformation blurred. I couldn't stop myself. I didn't want to stop myself. That was when I realized. This wasn't just makeup or dresses. This was a door I had opened into myself. A side I had ignored for years. And every day I spent exploring it, I felt more alive. But also more exposed. Because the deeper I went, the higher the stakes. One slip. One discovery by Mia. And everything could change. And I had no idea that the night she would finally see me fully transformed was closer than I imagined. And I never imagined a single evening could feel like it stretched over 1,000 lifetimes. By the time Mia finally came back, I had transformed completely. Not just a little makeup. Not just a skirt or blouse. I was her version of perfection. Soft curves accentuated by the dress, subtle blush on my cheeks, eyeliner tracing the shape of my eyes, and lips painted a delicate pink that made me feel unrecognizable. Standing in front of the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Arav, the calm, confident guy, had been replaced by someone fragile, dazzling, and impossibly exposed. The moment I heard her key in the lock, my chest tightened. Every instinct screamed to run. Hide. Disappear. But it was too late. She walked in. And froze. Her eyes scanned me from head to toe. A faint gasp escaped her lips. Not horror. Not laughter. Just astonishment. I wanted to speak. Say something clever. Apologize. Explain. But my voice failed me. All I could do was stand there, heart hammering, hands trembling at my sides. Mia stepped closer. Slowly. Carefully. Like she was approaching a delicate work of art. You look, she whispered. The words hung between us, fragile and heavy. I couldn't finish the sentence. I didn't even know what I wanted her to say. Approval? Rejection? Acceptance? Her eyes softened, and for the first time I didn't feel judged. I felt seen. Something broke inside me, relief, fear, exhilaration, all rolled into one. I realized this was bigger than makeup. Bigger than dresses. This was about who I had been hiding from everyone, including myself. Then she smiled. A small, knowing smile that made my knees weak. "You've been exploring, haven't you?" she asked. I nodded, unable to lie. The secret I had guarded so carefully spilled out in a rush. All the nights alone, the trembling hands, the quiet thrill of discovery, everything. And instead of stepping back, judging or laughing, she did something I never expected. She reached out, touched my face. "Thank you for trusting me," she said softly. The warmth of her touch, her acceptance, hit me harder than anything I had imagined. I realized then that this wasn't just a transformation of appearance. It was a transformation of identity, of trust, of intimacy. The night stretched on. We experimented together. Blush, eyeliner, lipstick. Soft laughter filled the apartment. Every brush, every touch, every glance deepened a connection I hadn't felt before. And yet, beneath the joy, a flicker of fear lingered. What would happen tomorrow? To my friends? My family? Could I ever go back to who I was before? I didn't know. But for the first time I didn't care. Because I had discovered something thrilling, terrifying, and liberating. I could be me. And Mia loved me anyway. By the end of the night, I wasn't just of experimenting with makeup. I was someone new. Someone bold. Someone alive in a way I had never known. And as I looked at myself in the mirror, smiling at the reflection that had scared me so much hours ago, I realized one truth that would stay with me forever. Life changes in the smallest, most unexpected moments. And sometimes, it only takes one makeup tutorial to change everything. If you were in my place, would you dare explore your hidden side? Comment below what you would do if you discovered a new part of yourself overnight. The night had ended, or so I thought. I was exhausted, makeup smudged from all the experimenting, but glowing in a way I couldn't explain. Mia had left to check something downstairs, promising to be right back, and I was alone in front of the mirror, staring at the reflection that had become me. I traced my fingers over my cheeks, over my lips, over the soft curves of my body that the dress emphasized. A thrill shot through me, equal parts fear and excitement. Then my phone buzzed. A text. From Mia. "Hey, I know what you did tonight. I saw the whole transformation on your story. Finito." My stomach dropped. I froze. Every scenario I had imagined, embarrassment, laughter, rejection, rushed through my mind. What had I done? What would she think? Would this change how she saw me, forever? I tried to call her, but my hands were shaking too much. The reflection in the mirror seemed to mock me. The person looking back wasn't just me. It was me, but someone daring, someone alive, someone exposed in a way I had never allowed before. Could I hide this? Should I? Or should I finally admit that this secret, this curiosity, this thrill, was part of who I was now? The door clicked behind me. I turned and froze. Mia was back, standing in the doorway. Her eyes wide, lips parted, holding something between disbelief and curiosity. I need to know everything," she whispered. And in that single moment I realized, there was no going back. Everything was about to change. What would you do if your deepest secret was suddenly exposed to the person you trust most? Would you hide, or embrace it? Comment below with your thoughts. I want to hear what you would do in my shoes.